My mom would stop at nothing to get me a boyfriend. On my birthday, she shoved an innocent young man into my room and told me to unwrap him myself. It was only after unwrapping that I realized I wanted my mom to give me a gift, but my mom wanted me dead. On my birthday, I came home completely drunk. My mom called me. The gift is in your room. Unwrap it yourself. My mom was so straightforward, I thought the designer bag I wanted was finally mine. Instead, I saw a young man wrapped in a bath towel, pink towel, lying there quietly. He was wrapped in my pink towel, and his legs were so long, my towel was too short, leaving him exposed at both ends. I swallowed. Mom, are you serious? How much? I figured my mom had been corrupted by her friends. Whatever my daughter wants, mom will buy it for you, no matter the cost. Hadn't I just said, after she'd pressured me with blind dates every day and I failed, I swore I'd eat my vegetables every day if I could just get a boyfriend. Did my mom actually listen? No, Mom, this isn't right. What's there to be shy about? If I give it to you, you take it. I looked at the young man again, my scalp tingling. But then I thought about how miserable I'd been at the class reunion today, gagging on their PDA, and decided I'd go for it. Midway through untying the bath towel, a hand pressed down on mine. What are you doing? He slightly opened his eyes, his voice low and hoarse, his gaze slightly hazy from drink. My heart sank. What was I doing? Was he shy? Do you want me to turn off the light? I asked softly. He stared at me for half a minute. Click. I turned off the light. Thinking of his face that could cause trouble anywhere, I mustered my courage and kissed him on the cheek. How old are you, Sarah? He chuckled, stopping my wandering hand. His magnetic voice drilled into my ear, making me tingle. I paused. Was he challenging me? Shamelessly added a few cups to my bra size. Heh. He let out a light laugh, then his body started shaking with laughter. Are you sure? Doubting me? At least AC. I was absolutely positive. He was silent for a moment, then said lazily, I meant, your age. I felt like an idiot. 26, I said through clenched teeth. A little old, he sighed, then released my hand. With the lights off, I can manage. Then he just lay there, looking like I could do whatever I wanted. I'm paying, and you're picky about the employer? That's unfair. Shut up. My fighting spirit instantly ignited. I'll make you cry. As it turned out, the kid really did cry. Can we sleep now? He asked, his eyes red, his voice hoarse. Does it hurt? I stopped. He mumbled, not looking at me, looking completely wiped out. Thinking about how he dared to challenge me earlier, my competitive spirit flared. Deal with it. It hurt me too, but I wasn't giving up. Can we sleep now? He pulled at the blanket, his voice barely a whisper. Yes. At that moment, I was already drained, completely out of energy. Rubbing my waist, I wallowed in self-pity. I just wanted my mom to give me a gift, but my mom wanted me dead. Halfway through the night, my dad, Robert, knocked on my door. Have you seen his dad's boss's son, Alex? Rubbing my incredibly sleepy eyes, I asked, Dad, who's his dad's boss's son, Alex? I'd only been asleep for half an hour, and my brain felt like scrambled eggs. I was drinking with my boss yesterday, and his dad's boss's son, Alex, got drunk, so I brought him home nearby to rest. I didn't see him when I got back, so I thought I'd ask you. As my dad, Robert, spoke, he kept glancing into my room. I stood frozen, thinking for a full minute. His dad's boss's son, Alex? Son? The face of the young man lying in my room, barely alive, flashed in my mind. Boom, a lightning strike wiped everything else away. No, didn't see him. I glanced inside, startled awe. Ache. I need to sleep. Slam, I guiltily closed the door. After a few minutes of giving myself a pep talk, I nervously walked to the bed and gently pulled back his blanket. Are you asleep? I tried to make my voice gentle. It took him a while to slowly open his eyes. With a long arm, he pulled the blanket up, covering himself more completely. Want more? Was I some kind of animal? No, I fidgeted with my fingers, feeling uneasy. I wanted to ask you. Then sleep for a bit. He pulled me closer, as if to comfort me, and stroked my head. I'm too tired. My heart clenched when I heard that. This was all a huge misunderstanding. Do you want some water? Remembering how I'd treated him just now, I started to feel like I needed to make amends. He opened his eyes and stared at me for a few seconds. Can it wait until tomorrow? Was I misunderstanding? Was that what he meant? Died of embarrassment. Given that one of us was drunk and the other was exhausted, and neither of us was thinking clearly, I decided to sleep first and figure things out later. I slept, but no solutions came to mind. My mom came knocking on my door early in the morning. Did you unwrap the gift? Do you like it? I stood there, pale-faced, feeling like an idiot. Unwrapped it, I lied guiltily, not knowing what my mom had sent. Yes. I like it. Let me sleep a little longer. With that, I slammed the door shut. When I got back to the room, no one was on the bed. Then I heard water running in the bathroom. I looked at the faint silhouette, my scalp tingling. He was awake. I was finished. I paced the room nervously, trying to figure out how to get him out without anyone knowing, and without him holding me responsible. The next second, he came out. Naked. I was blind. You. My first reaction was to dart to the door and lock it. Why aren't you wearing clothes? He walked calmly to the bed, covered himself with the blanket, and stared at me with a lazy gaze. Oh, clothes. My scalp was absolutely tingling. You came naked yesterday? I wanted to cry. I threw up on myself when I was drunk, he said calmly, leaning against the headboard and playing with his phone. It looked like he was waiting for me to figure something out. I was going insane. Wait here, I threw on some clothes, not bothering to wash my face or hair, pulled open the door, and ran out. Before leaving, I cautiously added, don't go out, lock the door, and don't open it for anyone. Whatever you say. He looked at me amused, and was surprisingly obedient. As soon as I went out, I ran into my mom, which scared me into blocking the door. Why is your face so red? She was holding breakfast and told me to come eat. It's a little hot. I fanned myself frantically, bent down, and grabbed the trash can to leave. You're not eating breakfast. Where are you going? My mom asked, chasing after me. Taking out the trash, I ran off with my head down. Downstairs at the local supermarket, the owner saw me hovering in front of the underwear aisle and walked over curiously. Buying for your dad, Robert? I grabbed a random pair, trying to get away with it. But she pressed down on my hand. Too small. Your dad, Robert, has such a big belly, you need this pair. He's on a diet. I grabbed the pair she'd put back, then ran to the clothing section and grabbed an athletic t-shirt and shorts. As I paid, the owner scanned the items, smiling weirdly. Do you have a boyfriend now? That startled me, and my face instantly turned red. No, my cousin is visiting. I'm buying for him. I grabbed the clothes and ran out. When I got home, my mom saw my flustered face and asked, You're out of breath. Where did you go? Morning run. I jogged in place for a few steps, hid the plastic bag behind my back, then opened the door, ducked into my room, and locked it. After I calmed myself down, I threw the plastic bag to him. He finally stopped pee. Laying on his phone, glanced at me, then at the bag. Didn't say anything, didn't move. Did he think my attitude was bad? I hesitated for a few seconds, pulled the clothes out, and laid them out in front of him one by one. I lowered my voice. This is all they had downstairs. Can you make do? Yeah, I can make do. It's just, aren't your demands a bit much? He hooked his slender finger on the clothes I bought, looked at them, and sighed. Demands? Where were my demands? You've already seen everything. Do you want me to go commando? He looked at me teasingly. Me? My mom was knocking again. So annoying, I opened the door a crack. What did you buy? The owner downstairs said you forgot something. With that, my mom handed me a black plastic bag. I took it and opened it. Less than a second later, I quickly closed the bag. My underwear. I guiltily closed the door. It turned out I was so flustered that I'd forgotten to grab the underwear I'd bought. I felt like my life was pretty much over. I turned away, waited for him to get dressed, then crouched down in front of him and painstakingly explained everything. "This is a complete misunderstanding," I said. He was still playing games, with a keep talking, I'm listening attitude. "When we go out later, can you please cooperate with me?" I softened my voice. It was the weekend, and my dad, Robert, and my mom would likely be home all day, so making him disappear was impossible. He didn't answer me. Looking at his arrogant demeanor, I regretted everything. Finally, after he finished a game, he stopped, looked straight at me, and asked in a low voice, "Wasn't I cooperative enough last night?" He reached out, poked my forehead, and dragged out the end of his words, "Auntie, people shouldn't be so greedy." Auntie? Yesterday he called me Sarah, and now he's calling me auntie after one night's sleep? You jerk. I sank to the floor. What, was he trying to blackmail me? What do you want? WH. Do you think? He countered. Well, just because he's got a decent face, he thinks he can negotiate with me. I glanced at the birthday gift my mom gave me on the vanity, grabbed it, and handed it to him. "This bag is brand new. Take it and give it to your girlfriend, okay? Even hiring a gigolo wouldn't be this expensive." My heart truly ached. He glanced at me, stood up, and looked down at me. "Fine, I'll keep it here for now." With that, he walked to the door and opened it and left. My mind went blank. I rushed to the door and listened to the commotion outside. But the door was pushed open, and it was my mom. "Why aren't you up yet? His dad's boss's son, Alex, is already up. Come out quickly." What was going on? My mom pulled me to the dining table, where I saw him sitting lazily in front of it. My dad, Robert, was enthusiastically serving him congee and pouring him a glass of soy milk. My mom pressed me into a chair, and I felt like I was sitting on pins and needles. "Alex," my dad, Robert, said, "we weren't sure what you like. Do you want soy milk or regular milk?" My dad, Robert, pushed all the breakfast items towards him. In front of me, there were only 2 large plain steamed buns. "Give it to Sarah. She likes it." He pushed the soy milk towards me. Was I being too dirty-minded? Why did I feel like he had a hidden meaning? For a moment, the atmosphere was a little awkward. "You too." My dad, Robert, looked at him, then at me. I kept my head down. "I forgot to introduce you. This is my daughter, Sarah. She's older than you, about 6 years older. You should call her Sarah." Look how polite he is. My mom nudged me with her foot, signaling me to greet him. My foot hurt. I suspected my mom had forgotten who her real daughter was. I wasn't polite. Was he? "Hi," I laughed it off. "Alex, eat up." I pushed the steamed buns towards him. He looked up, raised an eyebrow slightly, didn't say anything, but picked up a aimed bun. He didn't eat it, just observed it while smiling. His smile made me feel guilty. Was he even human? "Did you sleep well last night? I didn't see you in the guest room, I thought you'd left." My dad, Robert, started asking him how he was doing. He didn't answer directly, but looked at me instead. Was the answer written on my face? I was just an innocent person trying to eat. I probably went to the bathroom. He started putting down his chopsticks, looking like he didn't have much appetite. I didn't sleep too well the first half of the night. I have trouble sleeping in new places. Who was it last night who slept like a log beside me, pressing down so hard I couldn't even move my hair? Uncle Robert was also drunk last night, didn't take good care of you. Hope you don't mind." My dad, Robert, looked distressed, clearly under pressure from his boss. "I slept quite well the second half of the night," he smiled, looking at me again. "You jerk, why don't you just say it directly? Why torment my poor heart like this? Kids these days are really hard to deal with." Finally, after dinner was over, my dad, Robert, said he'd drive him back. Dad, you rest, I'll drive, I volunteered, mostly because I was afraid he'd sell me out. Okay, you young people have more in common. My dad, Robert, seemed a little awkward, probably not understanding why I was suddenly so eager. No, it's okay. I'll trouble Uncle Robert to drive me back, he refused me with a smile. Since he said that, my dad, Robert, couldn't really object and quickly finished eating to get ready to leave. While they were busy, I went up to him and whispered, "Why won't you let me drive you? What are you planning?" He lowered his head, his lips almost touching my face. "Next time, let me rest a bit, okay?" I, an older woman, was flushed by his words and instantly pulled away. "Don't you dare try anything," I warned him in a low voice. "When did I ever?" He shrugged helplessly. "Why, if it wasn't for you, last night, who was acting up?" Damn it, he was smiling again. "Shut up!" I wanted to seal his mouth shut with tape. "So wild last night, and shy today?" He stared at my flushed face, smiling even more brazenly. "Get lost. I'm leaving," he waved at me. "Don't miss me too much." With that, he acted like nothing had happened and went downstairs with my dad, Robert. As soon as he left, my mom came over, looking sneaky. "His dad's boss's son, Alex, is so handsome," my mom sighed. "I wish I had one." I looked at my mom, feeling like my dad, Robert, had a green halo over his head. "I mean, I wish I had a son-in-law like that, don't get the wrong idea," my mom glared at me. Oh, I realized I'd overthought. "No, wait. I'm afraid I'm incapable. I can't find you a son-in-law like that. Even if you were capable, you couldn't find one," my mom sighed dramatically. "I heard that Alex is getting engaged soon." Engaged? I almost bit my teeth off. Yes, to the daughter of another company CEO. A strategic marriage, through family ties. My mom looked me up and down and shook her head. My heart sank, and my mind went blank. Didn't that make what I did to him last night a terrible crime? I was completely finished. "What are you spacing out for?" My mom glanced at me. "I think your dad, Robert, might even get a promotion after their two companies team up. Your dad, Robert, has been waiting for this day for a long time." "Oh, good," I stammered to my mom, my heart pounding with panic. I was really afraid my dad, Robert, wouldn't get to see that day. After all, if Alex's fiancée found out about me and him, the engagement would be ruined. Later, I was nervous at home for several days. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. While my dad, Robert, was in the shower, I snuck into his room and looked through his phone. I found that guy's number, quickly wrote it down, and went back to my room. Holding my phone, I sent a contact request to that number. No response for a long time. I sent another message, "It's Sarah. Add me." The next day, the request still hadn't been accepted, but he replied with a question mark. So annoying, I edited another message, "It's Sarah." This time, he replied quickly, "Which one?" Which one? How many were there? Well, I guess sons of rich families are all playboys. The one who was at my place that day. Can't remember. Can't remember. I really wanted to punch him. I forced myself to help him remember. "You slept in my room, I unwrapped you like a gift, you didn't have clothes, I even bought you clothes downstairs," that one. As soon as I sent it, the contact request was accepted instantly. "Auntie?" He sent 2 words first, making my blood pressure shoot up. "Fine, Auntie is fine. Can I talk to you about something? Can you keep what happened that day a secret? Look, you were drunk, I was drunk, neither of us was thinking clearly. We're both adults, you should forget about it, right?" No response? What did that mean? It seemed he wasn't happy. I had no choice but to type again, "Give me your address, and I'll mail you the bag you wanted. Oh, and I washed your clothes, I'll send them too. If there's anything else you want, you can ask, I'll try my best to satisfy you." There was no response for a long time. I finally realized this was tricky. I sent another text, to test the waters. A big red exclamation mark appeared. Well, I'd been deleted. Fine, delete me. I felt a bit like giving up. I didn't care anymore. Another week passed, and my dad, Robert, said there was a problem with his dad's boss's son, Alex's engagement. At that moment, the potato chips in my hand lost their flavor. My boss has been in a terrible mood lately. I heard he beat Alex badly and kicked him out of the home. My dad, Robert, vented his difficult situation in the family group chat. Alex is so handsome, if he were my son, I wouldn't bear to high. Him, my mom looked heartbroken, as if Alex was her real son. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet in the group chat, trying to subtly confirm that this had nothing to do with me. Dad, why? Is your promotion still possible? I carefully chose my words to sound natural. What else? The kid is handsome and was seeing several girlfriends at once. He got caught. Sigh. Oh, so he was a playboy after all. Serves him right. I instantly felt relieved. It had nothing to do with me anyway. I heard he was exchanging inappropriate texts with a girl on his messaging app. Apparently, they spent the night together, and the girl even wanted to return his clothes and asked him to keep it a secret. His girlfriend caught him red-handed with the text messages. Me? Was my dad, Robert, hinting at me? I was so scared I dropped my phone. The group chat was still buzzing. I opened it and saw my mom's message. Are girls these days really that open? If our Sarah was half as open as her, she wouldn't still be single. Damn it! I wanted to say, your daughter is so open she's scaring herself. I immediately left the group chat, turned off my phone, and broke out in a cold sweat. I carefully recalled our conversation that day. Could it be that his girlfriend deleted me? The thought sent shivers down my spine. I immediately changed my profile picture on the messaging app and set my social media profile to visible only to myself. That evening, the three of us were eating dinner together. I kept my head down, trying to keep a low profile. Why did you leave the family group chat? My mom asked suspiciously. Huh? Did I leave? Let me see, my acting was as steady as ever. My dad, Robert, finished eating, went to take a shower first, and finally came out with a pair of underwear, questioning my mom, when did you buy these for me? You don't know my size? Me. My mom looked at my dad, Robert, then at me, and squeezed the underwear. These aren't yours. I didn't buy anything this expensive. Then, with perfect synchronicity, they both looked at me. I nervously swallowed, hesitating for half a minute. Did they fall from upstairs? They both paused for a few seconds, then nodded in agreement. I finally breathed a sigh of relief and volunteered to take the underwear back upstairs. I wasn't going to return them. I spent half an hour pacing in the building's garden downstairs with the underwear, my head aching at the thought of Alex. These were his underwear. I had washed them and hung them in my bedroom. Somehow, my mom had found them and washed them again. Thinking about his clothes being in my closet, I was going insane. I dragged my feet, finally getting home after sunset. As soon as I walked in, I saw that face and instinctively recoiled, checking the apartment number. Only after confirming I hadn't gone to the wrong place did I reluctantly step inside. Sitting neatly on the sofa, playing with his phone, who else could it be but Alex? Sarah, come here, my dad, Robert, called me, his face serious. My heart jumped. It was over. Everything was exposed. Walking over with trepidation, I saw the cuts on Alex's neck and the knees of his ripped jeans, and I gasped. What is it, Dad? I stood properly beside him, twisting my fingers. Alex finally stopped playing his game, looked up at me, and smiled faintly. His smile scared me. What was he doing playing games at a time like this? Well, Alex might be staying with us for a while. During this time, you can tutor him in calculus. You're pretty good at math, right? Huh? Tutoring? My heart relaxed a little. Wait, calculus? Dad, I'm not very good at calculus. I was confused. My dad, Robert, glanced at me, stood up, and pulled me aside. You got a perfect score in calculus once in college, remember? Don't be modest. Whether dad gets promoted this time depends on this. Could I tell him I cheated? I copied everything, and at the end, I wanted to make sure it wasn't exactal. Why the same as the other person's, so I randomly changed a multiple choice answer. By some strange coincidence, I got 100%, and that classmate only got 95%. But Dad, why is he staying with us? Doesn't he have a home? My head was aching. I'd finally gotten rid of him, and now this? This was going to be the death of me. Shoo, keep your voice down, my dad, Robert, glared at me. His boss kicked him out, that's why he came to our place. Think about it, Alex is still his son. I heard he failed a lot of courses. If you help him catch up, Dad's promotion chances look good. Dad, I think your promotion chances look hopeless, I said weakly. Dad will take that as sarcasm. You start tutoring him today. Get ready. After my dad, Robert, left, I pulled him inside the door. Why did you come to my place? What do you want? He slightly furrowed his brow. It hurts. I let go of his arm and lifted his sleeve, seeing scars on his arm as well. I was shocked. Don't look, he pulled his long sleeve down and smiled. I'll live. Why did his dad's boss come down so hard on him? I started to feel a little sorry for him. It wasn't because of you anyway. He looked down at me, walked lazily over to my desk chair, sat down, and started playing on his phone again. It wasn't because of me? I felt a little less guilty. It's good it wasn't because of me. Don't you have anywhere else to go? Why did you come to my place? What if your girlfriend misunderstands? He really had guts. Wasn't he about to get engaged? And he was still acting up like this? He stopped, looked up at me. Are you kicking me out? How can I keep you? My dad, Robert, said your girlfriend saw our texts that day. And you still dare to come here? What if she shows up? I was having real communication problems with him. He leaned back in my chair, looking completely unconcerned. Nothing will happen. He was even more reckless than I was. Are we having class tonight? He suddenly asked softly. My math is really bad, I confessed. I know. Me? So, you can teach me something else, he chuckled. Teasing me again? I was so annoyed. I was trying to have a serious conversation, and every 3 sentences he'd twist my words. He was just a kid, right? After I teach you, can you even put it into practice, looking like that? I rolled my eyes at him. He suddenly pursed his lips, laughing uncontrollably. His laughter made me feel a little unsure, so I pretended to pick up a book, trying to find my lost math memories. But he reached out his finger, pressing the book down, and stared straight at me. Want to try? My heart sank, and my face immediately flushed. I quickly straightened the book, putting on a serious face. Today's topic is self-study. Oh, he smiled and glanced at me, not teasing me further. Instead, he started flipping through other books on my desk, reading them intermittently. He sat beside me. I played on my phone, he read. His phone on the desk kept vibrating, notifications non-stop. Aren't you going to check your messages? I pointed at his phone. He didn't even bother to look up, saying lazily, is it noisy? You can turn it off for me. I was speechless. Aren't you afraid I'll see your secrets on your phone? He looked up at me. No secrets. With that, he went to my balcony, looking a little bored, and lit a cigarette. I have OCD, so I had no choice but to open his phone. The screen showed hundreds of missed calls and unread messages. They were all from someone named Chloe. If I wasn't mistaken, this was his girlfriend, the fiancée. TSK, how heartless. I quickly turned off his phone. Is your engagement with your girlfriend really off? I walked over and handed him the phone. The cigarette smoke was bothering me. He glanced at me, moved the hand holding the cigarette behind his back, and I finally felt a little better. Do you hope it's off? He countered with a smile. I was speechless. WH. Do you mean, I hope? I'm not the type to break up couples. Of course, I hope you two work out. My dad, Robert, said that after your strategic marriage, through family ties, he might even get a raise. What good would it do me if you broke up? I said it all in one breath, stating my position. His face was completely calm, without any expression. He looked at me for a moment, then turned his gaze away to look out the window. Honestly, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you go back and smooth things over with your girlfriend, do what you're supposed to? Even as an outsider, I was anxious for him. He finally turned back and glanced at me, sighing. Looking for peace and quiet. Well. I could see his fiancée was going insane, and things were probably chaotic at his home, but he comes here seeking peace and quiet. Heartless man. You don't need to worry. I'm only staying a few days. He looked me up and down, then looked away again. Auntie, someone like you, I'm really not interested with the lights off. Are you trying to be polite? I was so angry I almost threw him off the balcony. Seeing me angry, he started to laugh instead. I called you auntie, how much more polite can I be? I was speechless. For a moment, my head buzzed, and I didn't know how to retort. By the time I figured out what to say back, he had already left my room. So frustrating. 11 in the following days, we kept to ourselves. He would come to my room every evening, pretending to need an hour of tutoring. In reality, he just read my comic books. I didn't understand my dad, Robert's logic. Was he still hoping to get a promotion by sucking up to his dad's boss's son, Alex? Alex had been here for a few days, and no one had come looking for him. I figured he was already in deep trouble himself. How long do you plan to freeload at my place? I asked him, sitting beside him and playing games. He didn't look back at me. Until his dad's boss sends me abroad. Studying overseas? I asked. Something like that. He didn't seem interested in talking to me. Studying overseas is great. You'll come back with a golden ticket and be a top student. What school are you going to? I asked casually. He paused and laughed self-deprecatingly. Depends on which school his dad's boss throws money at. This. So much money? This was an opportunity so many people wanted, and he was so dismissive. He really was a young master who didn't know the hardships of the world. I suddenly felt a surge of goodwill and wanted to offer some advice. Actually, your dad, Robert, seems pretty good to you. Even though he hit you, he's still thinking about your future and is willing to spend money. He froze for a moment, a light smile on his lips. He never spent time on me, so all he can do is spend money. With that, he put down the book and went back to the balcony to smoke a cigarette. He was 20 years old, wasn't he? Why was he still in his rebellious phase? I took advantage of the 30 seconds my game character was dead to walk to the balcony and stared at him, thinking of many wise words, but seeing him made my mind go blank, and I forgot everything. You're just a kid, why do you like smoking so much? He moved the hand holding the cigarette to the other side, looked down at me. Whether I'm a kid or not, you know, don't you? I was speechless again. The scene from that night flashed in my mind, and I suddenly felt my cheeks getting hot. I quickly changed the subject deliberately. Smoking is bad. Why don't you know what's good for you? He froze for a moment, then asked in a low voice, are you worried about me? If you don't listen to my advice, that's fine. He didn't speak, paused for a long time, then said, you're just like them. Why should I have to live according to other people's suggestions? His tone was emotional, and although I didn't know why, I could feel he was very unhappy. So rebellious. It's not like you have to listen to everything, you can choose what to listen to. I organized my thoughts. You don't need to rebel against your home like this, right? He had been here for a few days, not answering calls from home, not answering or returning calls from his girlfriend. It was like he was determined to go against his home completely. Seeing no end in sight for his departure, I started to get anxious. Then what do you think is right? He asked back with a smile, his emotions already calmed down. Everything can be discussed. Not answering calls, what's that? He stared at me for a while. I thought he would argue back, but instead, he just said, I'm going to sleep." With that, he waved at me and walked away, leaving me with just his back. So arrogant. If he were my brother, I would have beaten him up by now. So rude, I couldn't help but curse. But he stopped at the door, was silent for a while, then turned back, walked up to me, looked down, and asked with a smile, "Then what counts as polite? When someone is still talking, you can't just walk away. Didn't your mom teach you that?" I took half a step back. His smile froze, something flashed in his eyes, and he said softly, "Didn't teach me." He must be lying, refusing to listen and dragging his mother into it. "I can't be bothered talking to you." I wasn't going to argue with him anymore. There was no point talking to him. He suddenly took a step back, looked up. "She's dead." Without hesitation, he walked out of my room. My mind went blank for a moment, completely stunned. His mother was gone? My dad, Robert, never mentioned it. By the time I reacted, he was already gone. I felt like I had done something wrong. That night, I lay in bed, recalling the way he said she's dead. He said it so casually, but why did I feel like he was so sad? Thinking of my remark, "Didn't your mom teach you that?" I wanted to hit myself. Too guilty to sleep, I got up in the dark and went to his room. 12 afraid of making noise, I quietly pushed open his door barefoot, wrapped in my pajamas. He didn't even lock the door? Using my phone flashlight, I tiptoed over to his side. He was asleep. His sleeping face looked like this? Without expression, it seemed even more aloof. I hesitated whether to wake him up and apologize. After thinking for half a minute, I felt a little crazy. Afraid of startling him, I decided to sneak out and talk to him tomorrow. Just as I was about to leave, my hand was grabbed. I was startled, and then he gently covered my mouth. A pair of clear eyes met mine in the dim light for a few seconds. After recognizing me, he slowly released his hand. "What are you doing?" I pulled his hand away. He lay back down and said mockingly, "You come into my room in the middle of the night and ask me what I'm doing?" I finally remembered what I came for. But apologizing suddenly felt awkward, so I stammered, "I shouldn't have said that today. I didn't know your mother wasn't around anymore." He looked at me, as if he heard me, and as if he didn't, with no expression. I had to continue. "I shouldn't have brought up something painful for you. I apologize." He still didn't speak, but picked up his phone and checked the time. "You shouldn't care what others say, you're a good person." He put down his phone and chuckled. "Good?" I organized my words. "You're pretty good. Although you have a bad temper, I've never seen you hit anyone. Although you're rebellious, I've never seen you yell at your dad, Robert. Although you're kind of a jerk, you haven't been a jerk to me." The further I spoke, the more uncertain I felt. My praise was indeed quite forced. Seeing me stop, he suddenly laughed, not sure if he'd heard anything I said. My scalp was tingling a little. "There are 3 hours left until dawn," he suddenly said, staring straight at me. "If you want something, hurry up." "I'm not." I came to apologize, and he thought I came for some thing else? "Not what?" He suddenly propped himself up, his entire face looming in front of me. My breath stopped, and I forgot to step back. "I need to go back." The 3 words didn't come out before something warm touched my lips. By the time I reacted and tried to push him away, he didn't give me any chance to breathe, reaching out and holding the back of my head. My mind started buzzing, and I couldn't think at all. After kissing for a while, he finally released me for a few seconds, breathing lightly, and asked in a hoarse voice next to my ear, "Did you lock the door?" I was startled and immediately reacted, pushing him away. "Didn't lock it, I need to go back." This time, before he could react, I ran out like a shot, not caring about my image, practically stumbling out. When I got back to my room, I realized I was so nervous I could hear my heart pounding. 13 I barely slept again that night. I felt guilty that my heart was pounding for a guy who was already taken. Tossing and turning, I decided to put some distance between us. I couldn't cross the line anymore. When I woke up the next morning, he was sitting at the table eating. My heart jumped. He usually slept until late morning. Why was he up so early today? I grabbed a carton of milk and bolted. He looked up and stared at me for a few seconds, but didn't say anything. As I was leaving, he suddenly stood in front of me, looking hesitant to speak. I nervously put on my shoes and walked to the elevator. He got there before me and pressed the down button. Are you going out? The wait was awkward. I glanced up at him. His hair looked like he just washed it. It was a bit long, almost covering his eyes. He didn't answer, just looked at me. Finally unable to withstand his gaze, I looked away. The elevator reached the basement level. He stopped suddenly at the garage entrance, just staring at me. You get off work at 5 in the afternoon, right? I was a little confused. Said, yes. Why do you ask? He stood with his hands in his pockets, looking at me lazily, and said gently, I'll wait for you. His words struck me hard, and I was so startled I got in my car without looking back. When I finally cleared my head, I couldn't stop wondering what he meant by I'll wait for you. I thought about it until my head was pounding but still couldn't figure out his intentions. Even at work, my mind was full of him kissing me last night. I was going crazy. After finally making it through the workday, I received a text from him. Bring me back a bubble tea. I glanced at it. No time. Working late? He asked again. I was stunned. Why was he suddenly so interested in me? What was he trying to do? Got a date, I replied bluntly. It was actually just a dinner with colleagues from the office. I hadn't planned on going, but now I decided to. ? He just sent a question mark. My work crush asked me to see a movie. Tell my mom I won't be home for dinner. I made up a reason that would make him give up and help me give up too. He didn't text back. Even though I checked my phone dozens of times during the dinner, I didn't get any more messages from him. He must have understood. I achieved my goal, but I felt a strange sense of unease. After dinner, everyone went to karaoke and drank. Thanks to my colleagues' efforts to get me to drink, by the end, I'd even forgotten who Alex was. But then, who knew, I saw him again. 14. He was smoking with a group of people near the bathroom. My first reaction upon seeing him was to run, but I'd drunk too much and really had to go. So, I gritted my teeth and went into the bathroom under his and his friend's gaze. When I came out, the group was still there, laughing and joking around me without restraint. You into that, auntie? He didn't say anything, just looked at me meaningfully. If you're not going for that hot auntie, I will. Hearing that, I couldn't help but look up while washing my hands and saw a boy with gray hair staring straight at me. I looked at Alex again. He wasn't saying anything, just blowing smoke rings. I couldn't help it. I stumbled over, glaring at the boy. I'm his Sarah, kid. You're really rude. The group suddenly started laughing and cheering. Alex, when did you get such a beautiful Sarah? And you kept her hidden from us? The boy with gray hair walked over. Sarah, you look drunk. Want to come hang out in our room? No, I pulled his hand away. It's Alex's birthday today. As his Sarah, aren't you going to celebrate with him? Huh? I turned to look at Alex. He looked away, didn't say anything, didn't argue, just as calm and composed as ever. He said he'd wait for me today because it was his birthday? I started to feel a little too unfeeling. Then I remembered he didn't have a mother anymore, and sympathy overwhelmed me. Hesitantly, I replied with a okay. A group of younger guys were pushing me towards their room when he spoke. They're all guys, what are you going to do there? Was he rejecting me? He really held a grudge. Then I won't go. I immediately changed my mind. Didn't I hear it was your birthday? He didn't say anything, paused for 2 seconds, then said indifferently, what's so great about birthdays? Okay. If he said that, it seemed I was just projecting. See you later, have fun, I said awkwardly to them and turned to leave. Just as I took a step, I bumped into a human wall. Looking up, I saw Alex looking at me through the smoke. Come in if you want. Me? Who just told me to leave? Who said birthdays weren't a big deal? I don't want to anymore, I rolled my eyes at him. He froze for a few seconds, then suddenly smiled, lowered his head, and whispered in my ear, "That's the one thing I can't believe you mean." He smiled meaningfully. My face instantly flushed red, and my mind went blank. "Let's go." He stepped aside and pulled me by the wrist into his room. 15. He seemed to be in a good mood tonight. He sat in the center, and many people offered him drinks. He just smiled and accepted every one. After an hour of drinking, I sat beside him, the alcohol starting to wear off. "How old are you today?" I asked him softly during a break in the drinking. The room was too noisy, so he had to lean close to my ear for me to hear. 22. "I thought you said a different number last time." I wasn't stupid even after drinking. He paused for a moment. 21. "Could that change? How old are you really?" Don't lie, my voice was loud because the music suddenly stopped, and everyone around us heard. "Sarah, he's only 20, afraid you'll think he's too young." The group started laughing. Me? Haven't you had enough to drink? Still have energy to talk? He glared at his friends, his face dark. Okay, everyone stopped making noise. Another round of toasts began. I couldn't help but frown. What would I do if he got completely drunk? How would I get him home? As he raised his glass again, I quietly tugged at his sleeve. "You, drink a little less." He looked down at me. "Worried about me?" I was worried. I was worried I couldn't get you back. "Drinking too much isn't good for kids," I earnestly advised him. He drained the drink in his hand and leaned into my ear. "Don't worry. Even when I'm drunk, I still have the energy to handle Sarah." Oh God, my heart pounded so fast. No matter how hard I tried to control it, my relationship with him kept straying further off course. I pretended not to understand and nervously played with my phone. He was still going strong past midnight. My mom must have sent me dozens of texts, but he hadn't finished. I was already tired. I really couldn't keep up with the energy of a kid. When it ended in the early morning, I still wanted to help him get a taxi, but he stood up straight. I didn't expect him to be able to hold his liquor so well. "When we get back later, be quiet so you don't wake my dad, Robert, and my mom. They're asleep," I cautiously reminded him in the taxi. He leaned back and said casually, "If we go to a hotel, they won't wake up." I nudged him away and moved to sit farther from him. "Alex." His soft was unlike him. I almost melted. "We can't do this." I hesitated to speak. "Forget it. You're drunk. I can't talk sense into you." "Can't talk sense, then." He leaned in again, close to my ear, and whispered one word. "Do." My face was as red as a cooked shrimp. Afraid the taxi driver would hear, I didn't dare react. He pushed it further, adding, "How about we go to a hotel?" I held back, ignoring him. After finally getting out of the taxi, I pulled him out. When the car was gone, I couldn't help but lose my temper. "Alex, what exactly do you want?" Why did he keep saying things that gave me the wrong impression? What did I do? He sat on the flower bed, smiling at me. "Inviting me to a hotel? Are you thinking straight?" I was so angry I wanted to explode. How could he be so shameless? "You're the one who said you were afraid of waking them up." He looked innocent. Me, did I misunderstand him? "But we can't go to a hotel." Was that place somewhere anyone could go? Did he even understand? He sighed and reached for my hand. "Don't be angry." I dodged his hand. "Let's go back." I walked ahead, but he suddenly grabbed my hand. "What do you want now?" I was speechless with him. What kind of drunken tantrum was this? He held my hand and wouldn't let go, just sitting there, staring at me. Finally, he seemed to lose patience and pulled me into his arms. I landed on his lap. "Give me 5 minutes," he said in a low voice next to my ear. "What do you need 5 minutes for?" I needed to go up and sleep. He stared at me, his eyes full of what looked like stars, and said softly, "I want my birthday present." "I didn't get you one." "There's one right here." With that, his kiss landed. His kiss mixed with the faint scent of cigarette smoke and the sweetness of red wine. The feeling made my mind go blank. At first, his actions were urgent and aggressive, then they slowly became gentle and lingering. I knew what we were doing was wrong, but in that moment, I couldn't push him away. When he finally stopped kissing, I gasped for air like I was drowning. "You go up first." He pulled out a cigarette and lit it. Smoking again. My mind wasn't clear, and I felt a little annoyed, so I walked upstairs in a sulk. "Don't be angry." Maybe he saw I was unhappy. He pulled me back. Let me catch my breath. His gaze flickered down at himself, and he sighed. Following his gaze, I was so startled I couldn't think of anything else and rushed to press the elevator button. 16 Back in my room, I buried myself under the blanket, thinking about everything that happened today. I felt both excited and a headache coming on. What was I going to do? I seemed to have fallen for someone I shouldn't have, and a younger guy at that. After washing up, I lay in bed, unable to sleep for a long time. Hearing the slight noise of him coming home, my heart, which had just calmed down, started pounding again. He quietly walked to my door and stopped. I held my breath. After waiting a few seconds, the expected knock didn't come. A text message flashed on my phone. "I really liked the birthday present. Don't overthink it. See you in the morning." I stared at the screen. I knew all the words, but put together, I couldn't understand them at all. So did he like the present, or me? What was I supposed to do? I thought about it all night, drifting in and out of sleep. Luckily, the next day was the weekend, so I didn't have to work. I woke up around 10 in the morning. After a night, I felt a strange sense of anticipation about seeing him again soon. I fiddled around in my room for a while, put on makeup, and even picked out a purple dress. I carefully covered my dark circle several times before slowly leaving the room. As I walked towards the sofa, seeing his back made my heart start pounding a little faster. I walked around the sofa, my nervousness not yet eased. The next second, when I saw the young girl's face next to him, I was stunned. "You must be the Sarah who tutors him." She smiled like a cute little kitten, soft and adorable. I didn't say anything, looking nervously at Alex. He, on the other hand, looked completely calm. My heart sank halfway. "Yes," I replied and sat down next to them. "Sarah, this is Chloe, Alex's fiancée." She came to see Alex. My dad, Robert, walked over enthusiastically with a fruit platter. I knew it. My dad, Robert's wish seemed to be coming true. "Oh." I grabbed a piece of watermelon and put it in my mouth. It tasted like nothing. "Didn't you have plans to go out with your classmates?" My dad, Robert, gave me a look. I was a little confused. When did I make plans with classmates? Quickly, I reacted and immediately stood up, just in time to hear my dad, Robert, say, "You two young people, talk things through properly. Don't throw tantrums at the drop of a hat." That was directed at them. Chloe obediently replied, "Got it, Uncle Robert." Then she took a piece of watermelon to feed Alex. Alex didn't open his mouth, but turned to look at me, making me feel awkward. I felt completely out of place standing there. "Okay, I'm heading out. You guys talk." I turned to walk towards my room. "I have nothing to discuss with you. You're so annoying. Can you please delete me?" Standing in my room, I couldn't help but eavesdrop on their conversation. Most of the time, Chloe was crying, and I couldn't hear clearly. Alex didn't say anything, only occasionally interjected a few words, sounding very impatient. I clutched my dress and finally sighed, thinking I was being ridiculous. No matter how much they argued, they were still getting engaged. What was I doing? I walked dejectedly to the mirror, looked at my face, then thought about Chloe's face, and suddenly felt drained. Youth was great. Alex was only 20, and Chloe was probably around the same age, while I was already 26. What could I compete with? Besides, he was his dad's boss's son, Alex. What was I even thinking? Just as I was thinking this, my mom came in and asked suspiciously, "Jealous of the single guy?" She gestured outside with her eyes. Me, jealous of what? I was speechless. Honestly, I'm jealous too. My mom came closer and started reminiscing about her younger days. Young couples arguing is great. The more you argue, the stronger the relationship. Mom, I'm in a bad mood. I suggest you don't bother me. I really didn't want to listen anymore. Why are you in a bad mood? My mom looked incredulous. I couldn't be bothered talking to her and slumped in my chair, playing with my phone. Oh, I wouldn't be happy either. I don't even think Chloe is as pretty as you. How come she can find someone as handsome as Alex, and my daughter is still single? For a moment, I couldn't tell if my mom was on my side or not. I met a friend playing mahjong yesterday. Her nephew is a doctor. I looked at my mom, wondering what she was up to. He's been studying medicine for a long time, just graduated at 28, hasn't found a girlfriend yet. Want to try? Sure enough. My mom never forgot to find me a boyfriend, anytime, anywhere. I couldn't even be bothered to deal with her. Could a boyfriend introduced by a friend at a mahjong table be reliable? I continued playing with my phone. My mom leaned in again, saying fiercely, "Your grandpa gave his final ultimatum. He said if you don't bring a boyfriend back for the National Day holiday this year, he won't let you in the door." Me. They're so old, and all they think about is dating and relationships. Try harder. Every time I go back to my hometown, people ask me if you have a boyfriend, and I'm under so much pressure. My mom's tart acting pitiful again. Text him to me, I said, taking a breath, thinking about the two of them being lovey-dovey outside. 18 I added the doctor's texts, but he didn't accept for a long time. Feeling annoyed, I decided to go downstairs for a walk. As soon as I went out, I saw a group of people gathered on the side of the road. I walked over and saw him. He was giving first aid to an elderly person who had collapsed on the ground. Seeing the elder's tattered clothes, I realized it was an old woman who collected trash nearby. Her life was quite pitiful. She was old and had to rely on collecting trash to make a living. Her children didn't take care of her. I stopped nearby and watched quietly. More and more people gathered, and everyone was very nervous. But some people were also sighing, "She's old, probably full of diseases. Who knows if this mouth-to-mouth resuscitation will spread something? Poor thing. Even if she's saved, who knows how many days she'll live. Living like this is suffering anyway." I wanted to say something too, but seeing everyone's gawking attitude, I felt a sense of sadness and helplessness. Finally, the person was saved. Ethan helped the elder stand up and said he would take her home. He looked up and saw me. "I know where she lives. I'll go with you." "Okay." He looked a little surprised to see me. After taking the elder home, he drove me back. We were both silent on the way. "Is it dangerous for you doctors to save people like this?" I couldn't help but ask. He paused. "Are you afraid she has an infectious disease?" "Yes, it can be. Usually, it's best to put a piece of gauze over the patient's mouth for artificial respiration," he explained. "But you didn't have any just now. You didn't bring any." I was actually worried, just like everyone else. "I know all that," he paused. "But that was a life." As a doctor, at that moment, all that mattered was saving her. I stood there, in a sense of reverence. For doctors welled up inside me. I suddenly felt ashamed of my own thoughts. "You don't need to worry about me. As a doctor, I know many methods for prevention and treatment." He was clearly comforting me, giving me an out. "Okay, then I feel better," I smiled. We continued walking. When we reached my building, he hesitated before leaving. "About Alex, last time." I found it hard to say. "He's your cousin, right?" He gave a bitter smile. "He's doing well over there. Going abroad was a relatively better choice for him." That's good." I didn't know what else to say. "Ethan, let's be friends from now on." I just threw out the suggestion directly. He paused for a moment, and after a long time, said one word. "Okay." 26 After finally saying those words, I felt a little better. Ethan and I became friends who could talk about anything from then on. Putting aside the blind date aspect, I found that I got along better with Ethan and wasn't as reserved. And our hobbies were surprisingly similar: the songs we liked, the movies, the actors, the places we wanted to go. We really were from the same generation, our interests were naturally similar. But every time I marveled at how much we had in common, I would inexplicably think of Alex. It was like we had more than just a generation gap. I couldn't understand his behavior at all. I wanted to send him a text and ask how he was doing, to know if he had a girlfriend. But then I thought, what business was it of mine? With his looks that attract a lot of attention, it would be hard for him not to have a girlfriend. Another 6 months passed. Ethan had been promoted from my good friend to my mom's right-hand man. He came over to my place often. Anyone with eyes could see he liked me, and I knew it myself. But he never said anything about liking me, leaving me no reason to refuse him. As my dad, Robert, would say, he was the type of man suitable for marriage. My mom immediately argued, "Sarah, don't be like your mom and marry someone just because they're suitable. Life afterwards is completely devoid of passion. Although mom hopes you get married quickly, you should find someone you actually like." My dad, Robert, was unexpectedly dragged into it. Find someone I liked? I thought back. After I turned 20, I didn't seem to have gotten butterflies anymore. Except for that night, when Alex, caught up in the moment, whispered in my ear and asked if I'd locked the door. The way my heart pounded then still leaves me unsettled when I think about it now. I held my phone and sent a happy Mid-Autumn Festival text to Alex, faking a group message. After sending it, I didn't get a reply for a while and felt a little ashamed. I wanted to unsend it, but the time limit had passed. I just took my phone to the shower, waiting for a message while washing up. Halfway through my shower, a message finally arrived. "Group text?" he asked. I breathed a sigh of relief. Good thing he didn't notice. Group texts are still texts. Who are you fooling? He was still the same as before. Even though he'd been gone for half a year, it felt like he'd never left. I held my phone, thinking about how to reply. Believe it or not. After replying, I looked up and saw myself smiling in the mirror. I must be crazy. Another notification came in. I swiped open my phone. If it was a group text, why didn't my cousin get one? I froze. How did he know his cousin didn't get one? I really didn't have the habit of sending group texts. I didn't expect my first attempt at faking it to fail. Maybe I missed him. How did you know? Oh, you didn't miss me? I guess I'm pretty lucky. He paused, then sent a photo. I looked. The photo was of a drunk Ethan. Oh no, he was with Ethan. Wait, how were they together? 27, you're back home? I couldn't help but ask. Hold on. His hold on hurt my pride. I threw my phone down and vowed never to text him again. At 11 p.m., just as I was about to go to bed, my phone rang. It was Alex. I glanced at it, turned off the screen, and didn't plan to answer. After a while, he called again. I still didn't answer. I wanted him to see how annoying he was being. After a little while, the phone finally stopped ringing. Ha, kid. Just as I was feeling smug, there was a knock on the door. It was my dad, Robert. Sarah, did you call Alex about something? He said you called him several times, and then you didn't answer when he called back. It's the middle of the night. My dad, Robert, rubbed his tired eyes, yawning as he spoke. Did you accidentally call him with your phone? Ah, I froze. Maybe, I replied. I never expected him to call my dad, Robert. He used that tactic? That was crazy. Well, call him back quickly. It's so late, my dad, Robert, said and turned away in his slippers. Okay. Closing the door, I cursed him under my breath for being shameless. The phone rang again, right on cue. This time, I answered. Why did you call my dad, Robert? I was beyond annoyed. I was afraid you wouldn't answer my call and I couldn't sleep. His voice was a little hoarse. He sounded like he'd been drinking a lot and smoking too much. Who can't sleep? I retorted. He didn't say anything, just chuckled dully on the other end, his laugh making me feel a little guilty. After laughing for a while, I was about to hang up when he said in a low voice, "It's me. I'm the one who can't sleep." His voice passed through my eardrum and throughout my body, a tingling sensation, like being electrocuted. What kind of drunk talk is that? I'm hanging up. I was too embarrassed to respond. Don't hang up. He quickly stopped me. After a few seconds, he repeated, "Don't hang up." Then he talked to himself. "Let me hear your voice. Alex, how much have you had to drink?" How much had he drunk to be this drunk, talking nonsense, going off the rails again? "Worried about me?" he asked with a laugh. "Worried about you?" "I'm worried about the girls around you," I said irritably. But he just laughed again. After a moment, he said seriously, "None." None? That wasn't like him. I couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him and was about to say a few things before hanging up. "Are you home? If you're home, I'll hang up." He hesitated for a while, completely disregarding my request, and continued, "My cousin came to the States today, and we drank together." Oh, I remembered Ethan saying he was going away for a few days. He was studying abroad. He said he likes you. Ethan didn't seem like the type to talk about things like that. Why would he tell Alex? He must have been drunk. "Did you get him drunk?" "Yeah, I got him drunk," he laughed triumphantly. "Then did you take him back to the hotel?" "I just dropped him off." He didn't speak, and after a long while, he asked, "Then do you like him?" My heart sank. I knew the answer myself, but I didn't really want Ethan to find out through someone else. "That's grown-up stuff, don't worry about it." He didn't say anything again. I heard the sound of a door opening on his end. He must have arrived home. "Sarah," his voice was very soft. "What is it?" Every time he called me by my name, I felt inexplicably shy. "My head hurts." His voice became very low, sounding like he was whining. Whining? I was startled by the word. "Who told you to drink so much?" I couldn't do anything for him from here. "Because we talked about you with my cousin, I got a little out of control," he said with a laugh. Me, what was going on with two guys talking about me? "You should take a shower and rest early." I tried to change the subject. "He said you two are very compatible, that you're great, and he likes you a lot. He even planned to confess to you as soon as he got back and asked me to wish him luck." "And did you wish him luck?" I didn't understand why they were talking about these things. I chose to get him drunk and make him look like a fool in front of me, he said with a cold laugh. Me? 28, he's useless. He paused. I gave him 6 months, and he still couldn't become your boyfriend. I froze. What did he mean? He gave him 6 months. You're really drunk. I didn't know how to answer. Admit it, he was back to his mischievous tone. You like me too, just like I like you. Just like I like you. My mind went blank. My brain stopped working. I didn't know how things had turned out this way. My heart started pounding wildly. Say something. The voice from the phone pulled me back to reality. I still didn't speak. I didn't know how to answer. I thought I liked him, but was he serious? And the real-world problems between us, could they be resolved? After a while, he sighed, his voice low as he coaxed me. Can you say something? It felt like an eternity. My inner struggle was useless. I realized how much my heart had pounded when I heard his confession, how much I wanted to tell him that I liked him. Alex, I said his name. He responded softly. Are you serious? I sighed and finally asked the question. He didn't answer immediately. If I say I'm serious, that I want to date you, want you to be my girlfriend, want to marry you, would you be scared? I was stunned and said yes without hesitation. I never thought I'd be given butterflies by a younger guy. Why are you such a scaredy cat? He sighed helplessly. Then I'll come back and say it to your face. Come back? I was stunned. You're coming back? I asked softly. What else can I do if I don't come back? He paused. Some people never contact me, but they keep appearing in my dreams, making me. He was being naughty again. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I need to sleep. My face was burning hot. Can we video chat for a bit? He suddenly asked. I'm going crazy. You look fine to me, I retorted, annoyed. Then take a look. I'll show you whatever you want to see, as long as you video chat with me. Me? He always found a way to make my heart race and my face flush. I felt like this conversation couldn't continue. Hanging up. With that, I actually hung up. Soon after, a message flashed on my messaging app. Heartless. 29 because I slept too late, and the next day was a holiday. I didn't wake up until noon. Waking up, I still couldn't help but feel my heart pound when I thought about last night's call. But back in reality, he was currently abroad, still studying. By the time he came back in a few years, I'd be almost old. Thinking about this gave me a headache. Before I could sort everything out, my mom came knocking on my door. Sarah, wake up quickly. Mom went grocery shopping. Alex is coming over later. At least don't just lie there. What kind of appearance is that? Mom, who did you say? I was a little confused. Alex. He texted my dad, Robert, last night and said he'd be here around noon today, coming over to visit. I was even more confused. When did this happen? I quickly got up and sent him a message on the messaging app, but he didn't reply. He was probably on the plane. My head was spinning. I went to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face to clear my head. Only then did I fully realize he was actually coming over. While listening to my mom's instructions and tidying up the home, I thought about the things he'd said yesterday. He said he'd say it to my face. Was it going to be today? My heart started pounding really fast. It was over. What if my dad, Robert, and my mom found out? Just as I finished sweeping the last bit of the floor, someone patted my back. It was my dad, Robert. I jumped, about to ask my dad, Robert, if he was a ghost, walking so silently. The next second, a face appeared from behind him. I was gone. Alex! The person I hadn't seen in a long time suddenly appeared. My mind was slow to react, and I felt a shameful shyness. Sarah. He was always well behaved in front of my dad, Robert. You're back. My tone was a bit cool, mostly because I was afraid he'd cause trouble. Coming back without letting me know first made me feel unsure. Uncle Robert, I'm a little tired. Can I take a nap first? He shrugged helplessly. Yes, of course. Uncle Robert forgot about your jet lag. My dad, Robert, was still incredibly enthusiastic. Sarah, go tidy up the guest room and change the sheets. Me? Okay, fine. I walked ahead, and Alex followed behind. I kept feeling like something was off. Sure enough, as soon as we entered the guest room, he closed the door and pinned me against the wall. I was so startled I couldn't breathe, and I whispered, Alex, my dad, Robert, is right there. Can't help it, as soon as I finished speaking, he lowered his head and kissed me fiercely, without any control, like a hungry wolf. I was worried about my dad, Robert, walking in, and at the same time, I didn't dare make a sound, so I just let him do as he pleased. When I was almost suffocating from the kiss, he finally let go of me, gently wiped my lips with his finger, and said with a smile, Sorry, your lipstick is smudged. Are you a dog? I wanted to curse him. My lips felt hot and sore. I'm sorry, I'll be more careful next time. He smiled and gently touched my lips with his hand. I turned my face away shyly. You step aside first, I need to change the sheets. This time, he didn't hold me back, letting me break free from his embrace. He just stood by the door, smiling stupidly at me. Oh my God, he was still smiling. My face was almost red to my neck, so I buried my head in changing the sheets. He stood for a moment, then naturally walked over and lay down, grabbing my hand. Let go. I pulled his hand away while glancing at the door, afraid my dad, Robert, would walk in. Sarah, he called my name softly, his gaze fixed on a certain area of his body, and sighed. Can't sleep now. Follow. His gaze, I went blind. I had actually felt it when he was holding me earlier, but he always said things so shamelessly, it was truly embarrassing. Can't sleep? Do you want me to knock you out? I pulled his hand away, really wanting to hit him. He was still smiling. I like it when you knock me out. Should I say it? Just shut up. I quickly ran out. 30 As soon as I ran out, my dad, Robert, looked at me suspiciously. What happened to your face? My heart was trembling with fear, but I tried to keep my breathing steady. Allergies. Dust allergies? My dad, Robert, wanted more details. I was about to die. Maybe. Just then, my mom came back. What are you two doing standing here? My mom was carrying big bags of groceries, looking like she'd cleared out the market. Aren't you going to help? Coming! I thanked my mom for saving me and quickly went over to help. My mom was startled and mumbled, 365 days a year, and it's rare to see you so diligent. What kind of big mistake did you make? Tell mom first. I wasn't that lazy. Lost money in stocks? No, I said, picking vegetables while enduring my mom's interrogation. Dumped Ethan? Ethan and I were never together. I was speechless. My mom cooked while looking at me suspiciously. After a long silence, she said, "You're not pregnant, are you?" Me? Mom, did you forget I don't have a boyfriend? I really admired her imagination. Mom knows, but you young people nowadays are more open than we were, my mom said subtly. If you are pregnant, I can still help you raise the baby, but please don't go to some small clinic, it's not safe. I was completely speechless. But compared to this, I felt like my own situation wasn't such a big deal anymore. Mom, I have a friend. Okay, which friend? Just, my best friend from elementary school, I made up. She found a boyfriend who's much younger than her and doesn't know what to do. Her? If she can find a younger boyfriend. Why can't you? Sarah, have you seriously thought about your own problem? I was stunned. I was overthinking. My mom's way of thinking was indeed unusual. She's agonizing over what to do. Mom, you have experience. Tell me what you think. My mom acted serious and thought for a moment. She glanced at my dad, Robert, outside the kitchen, then leaned in conspiratorially. Logically, I don't approve, but if I were 20 years younger, I'd want a younger boyfriend too. Obedient and romantic, not like your dad, Robert. Me, why was my dad, Robert, an innocent victim again? Dad is so good to you, and you don't understand. Your dad, Robert, is good, that's why mom is having a good life with him, isn't she? It's just that when you're young, you shouldn't set so many limits for yourself, or you'll have regrets when you're old. I was completely shocked by my mom's words. She really was something. It seemed this wasn't my fault. It was my mom's strong genes. She influenced me, which is why I would be attracted to someone younger. Thinking that way, I finally felt a lot better. 31 At dinner, Alex got up, looking pale. He clearly hadn't slept well. My dad, Robert, didn't ask him much at the table, probably thinking he was too tired. After dinner, he urged him to go back to sleep for a while. Because it was Mid-Autumn Festival, my dad, Robert, and my mom were going to Grandma's house. They felt it would be rude to leave Alex alone, so they asked me to stay and wait until he woke up. I went back to my room. Since I'd gotten oil on myself from cooking, I took a shower. Halfway through, he started knocking on the door. I had to call him and tell him I was in the shower, asking what he wanted. Can I come in? No. Did you lock the door? He asked with a chuckle. I froze. Why would I lock the door in my own home? I certainly didn't have that habit. Can't sleep. I'll just sit at your desk and read some comic books, he said so seriously. If I refused, it would seem like I was the one thinking inappropriately. Don't mess with my things. Okay. So I awkwardly showered inside, thinking about him being outside. I finished quickly. When I was done, I was stunned. I had only grabbed some intimate clothing, I hadn't brought pajamas in at all. I was finished. I couldn't go out like this, but I couldn't stay in here forever either. Standing in the bathroom, I thought for 5 minutes, then had no choice but to text him. Can you grab me some clothes? They're by the bed, I forgot to bring them in. He didn't reply, and I was very nervous, afraid he hadn't seen it. Just as I was about to call out to him, there was a knock on the door. "You, just hand them to me through the crack." I opened the door a crack. He didn't move for a long time. I had to reach out and feel around myself. When I felt his hand, the door was pushed open, then quickly closed, and he was standing in front of me. "Close your eyes." For a moment, I didn't know what to cover. He looked at me with a smile. "You invited me, but then wouldn't let me in. What's that supposed to mean, Sarah?" I really didn't bring clothes, I was going insane. How was I supposed to explain? "Don't cover up. It's not like I haven't seen it before." He put the clothes aside. My blood rushed to my head. "Give me the clothes!" Just as I reached out to grab them, he seized the opportunity to press me against him and cupped my face in his hands. "Put them on later." He smiled and kissed my forehead, my nose, my lips, then trailed downwards. When I came back to my senses, I pushed him away. Just before he lost control, he handed me a small box. "Sarah, I got it." Looking at the box, I went crazy. "When did you get that?" "A while ago. It'll expire if I don't use it soon." "Me?" When I was finally fully awake, I was so exhausted my fingers felt weak. He just held me and said a long string of sweet words. My head was buzzing, and I only caught the gist of it. I didn't really know what he'd said. Finally, he asked, "Will you be my girlfriend?" I didn't answer. He asked again, "Then can I be Sarah's boyfriend?" I still didn't answer. At this moment, all I wanted was to sleep. "Let me sleep for a bit," I sighed. He didn't say anything, was silent for a long time, and the smile disappeared from his face. When I felt he was being unusually quiet, I asked him, "What's wrong?" But he turned his face away, not letting me see. I forced him to look at me. His eyes were red, and he said sullenly, "You don't want to take responsibility? What am I to you?" With that, a tear rolled down. I panicked. "I'm not avoiding responsibility." I reached out to wipe his tears. But he grabbed my hand. "Then aren't you going to give me a title, Sarah?" Okay, stop crying." If he cried any more, I would start crying too. Even though he was the one who took advantage of me, he always managed to make me feel like I was the one who had wronged him. After a long time of coaxing him, he finally lit up when I called him honey. Later, I urged him to go to the guest room and lay alone in my room. He called me. "The moon is so beautiful tonight," I sighed. "Sarah, my heart is too full for the moon," he said very dramatically. "Okay." I coaxed him a little, and he finally fell asleep. Lying in bed, I thought back on everything that had just happened. It seemed impulsive, but it was all driven by feeling butterflies. I was very lucky that in my youth, I followed my heart. If I had to choose again, I would still choose him without hesitation. The rest was up to time. Extra one considering the age gap between Alex and me, and the fact that he was studying abroad, our relationship became a secret relationship. He wasn't happy about this. I told him I'd visit him in the States during the National Day holiday, and he reluctantly agreed. "Whatever you want. As long as you think it's more exciting this way, I don't care." He was acting up completely before he left home that day. "Shut up." I wanted to sew his mouth shut. Even though we'd agreed on a secret relationship, he would seize every opportunity to act up around me. Just as I finished speaking, my dad, Robert, looked at me with a difficult expression. "Sarah, come here for a second." It was over. Did he hear him? I put my things down and glared at Alex. He still looked fearless. My dad, Robert, pulled me into the room and earnestly advised me, "Why are you always so hard on Alex? He's his dad's boss's son, Alex, after all. Are you saying you think your dad, Robert, has been having it too easy at work lately?" "Dad, I wasn't being hard on him." "Oh, right. Did his boss give you a promotion last time?" I suddenly remembered. My dad, Robert, was silent for a moment. Sigh. "His boss is unpredictable. He said I was reliable because I took Alex in, and he specifically gave me some projects." My workload doubled. "That's good." Congratulations, things worked out for you. My dad, Robert, rubbed his temples. The salary didn't increase. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it and burst out laughing. Dad, his boss is definitely testing you. I encouraged him with a smile so he wouldn't be too discouraged. My dad, Robert, sighed dejectedly, mumbling, when can your dad, Robert, finally turn things around and put that capitalist in his place? You will, I laughed it off and quickly backed out. What's wrong? I was driving Alex to the airport, but he kept reaching over and holding my hand. Nothing, just my dad, Robert, something about his work. I pulled my hand away. Let go, it's not safe. He did let go, but at a traffic light, he grabbed my hand again, turning it over and over. Sarah, your hand is so smooth. I really like it. Alex, be serious. It was like he was possessed. He'd been like this for days since I agreed to be his girlfriend. I want to be. He looked at me with a smile. But low. Oking at Sarah, I can't be a proper gentleman. I stayed silent, couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. You're ignoring me again, he started complaining. You're not going to coax me onto the plane and then stop texting me, are you? When did I do that? I wanted to cry. What kind of person did he think I was? You haven't done it yet. We added each other on the messaging app 6 months ago, and you haven't sent me a single text. He started bringing up old scores. If I didn't talk to you, you wouldn't look for me? You should coax me. If you coax me, I'm all yours. He picked up my hand and kissed it gently. Okay, stop it. Hurry up and get on your plane. He was too clingy, I couldn't shake him off. He looked at the airport, unbuckled his seatbelt, but just sat there for a long time. Get out of the car. I regret it, he suddenly sighed. Regret what? He turned his face and looked at me deeply. Why did I agree to study over there? Thinking about not seeing you for 1 or 2 weeks makes me hurt right here. He pointed to his chest. I paused and quickly comforted him. It'll be quick. I'll come find you during the National Day holiday. But, we only just became official a few days ago. He complained for a while longer, then gritted his teeth and got out of the car. Remember to answer my video calls. Okay. He walked 2 steps, then turned back, came around to the driver's side, lowered his head, and kissed me fiercely before leaving reluctantly. Watching him walk away, a strong sense of reluctance welled up in my heart as well. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't interfere with his studies. I hardened my heart and drove away quickly. Extra 2 One day 2 years later, my dad, Robert, said he wanted to take me to a dinner party. The goal, of course, was for me to meet eligible young men. In the past 2 years, my dad, Robert, and my mom hadn't seen me find a boyfriend and were starting to wonder if I just didn't know. Ike guys. In reality, I was so constantly bothered by the little pest on the messaging app that I had no energy to talk to anyone else. Fortunately, while he was clingy, he had clearly changed a lot. He was now getting A's in all his classes, had won a scholarship, and was working on projects with his professor. His dad's boss was also very satisfied with him, even letting him handle some small projects for practice. I agreed to come to the dinner party this time because I had made a deal with him. Since we didn't see each other very often, he was always complaining. So we always seized every opportunity to meet up. I heard from my dad, Robert, that you're doing very well at the company. I raised my glass and clinked it against his. He swirled the wine in his glass, lowered his head, and whispered in my ear, that's all thanks to Sarah's training. Your dad, Robert, is looking over here, I nervously reminded him. He glanced over, smiled, and didn't say anything. His dad's boss saw me, smiled, and walked towards me. My scalp tingled. You're Sarah? His dad's boss was a typical successful businessman. Even when he acted polite, there was a strong sense of pressure. Yes, hello uncle, I forced a big smile. Good, his dad's boss said, specifically glancing at Alex. I instinctively stepped away from him. Come over for dinner sometime. Huh? I think I understood, and yet I didn't. Boss, Mr. Liu is looking for you, my dad, Robert, coincidentally rushed over. He saw the three of us standing there and looked hesitant to speak, not understanding what was going on. "I'll be there," his dad's boss said calmly. When he saw my dad, Robert, he reluctantly put on a smile. "Robert, I was thinking, we should find a time to bring your wife and Sarah over to our place for dinner." My dad, Robert, was clearly flattered. "Boss?" He was confused. "I'm usually busy and might not do things perfectly. I should have invited you over to my place a long time ago as a matter of courtesy. The two kids have been together for so long." "The two kids?" My dad, Robert, looked at Alex, then at me, clearly startled. I think I was finished. "Robert, don't mind. We'll be family from now on. You don't have to be so formal with me in private." His dad's boss's attitude was so good it made me doubt reality. But at that moment, Alex was still smiling faintly, as if this had all been planned. "When did this happen? This matter might need to be discussed further." My dad, Robert, was so scared he couldn't speak clearly. "Look at how secretive these two kids have been. Robert, let's go to the private room to discuss." My dad, Robert, followed his dad's boss in, looking confused, and didn't come out for a long time. "How did your dad, Robert, know?" I poked Alex. He pursed his lips in a smile, lowered his head, and told me, "He found the green apple scent you like in my room." My face instantly flushed red. "How could that be found? Why did you put it everywhere?" "I was thinking of coming back home, so I ordered some online. The housekeeper at my place thought it was her package and opened it. Then she told his dad's boss." He shrugged. Oh my God, this was a major social suicide moment. Later, my dad, Robert, didn't say a word on the way home, which scared me into silence. Finally, when we reached our garage, my dad, Robert, suddenly said, "That was satisfying. Good job, daughter." "Me?" My dad, Robert, recounted his negotiation with Alex's dad's boss excitedly. "He's always acted so arrogant, never been this humble before. He begged me to agree to your relationship, saying his son only got better because of you, thanks to our family. He even promised to give me a raise." I listened to my dad, Robert, talk happily for a while. Then, "Did you agree?" I stood there, a little confused. He glanced at me. "No, I said I'd think about it. Sarah, Dad doesn't want you to be in an unequal relationship because of me. And don't compromise because of Dad. Dad is just an employee, he can humble himself, but my daughter absolutely cannot, understand? So you have to think carefully, don't let that brat walk all over you." I remembered how every time he left, Alex would cry and beg me for video calls, and I broke out in a cold sweat. And every time he hugged me and said he felt insecure, asking me to wait for him. It seemed, maybe I was the one who bullied him more. But I didn't say anything. I just replied to my dad, Robert, with one word. "Okay." When I got home, I voluntarily confessed everything to my mom. My mom was speechless for a long time after hearing it. Finally, she gave me a thumbs up. Impressive. The next day, Alex's flight was in the evening. During the day, he came over to my place and put on a show of being attentive. My dad, Robert, and my mom were quite pleased. My mom liked him more and more the more she saw him. Finally, she made an excuse about going to Grandma's house and dragged my dad, Robert, away. As soon as they left, Alex showed his true colors. "Sarah." He hugged me from behind, resting his head on my shoulder, rubbing against me. "Pack your things, you have a flight tonight." I pushed him away. But he wouldn't let go. "3 more hours," he whispered softly in my ear, whining. "You have to be at the airport 2 hours early. Stop messing around." "Then there's still 1 hour left," he was insistent. Finally, he leaned in and kissed me directly, sighing. "Time is so short, Sarah. Don't you want to make the most of it? You'll be too tired later." Being tired means I can sleep on the plane. This little pest